evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show which always precedes a debate of one kind or another, usually me arguing with the person on the screen that can't actually hear me because I'm insane. Or just very bored. I don't know. Anyway, I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday Debate Night Thursday. Yes, I'm starting a little early today in order to make way for the debate tonight, because afterwards I will be on a special debate night commentary stream with Sinatra Says. A link to that stream I am putting in the chat now. I will repeat it into the chat later on during the show, near the end, as a reminder. Also, if you're on the Discord, the link is up there as well to get ready for that. If you are interested, there will be debate night bingo, if you can believe it. But that's for later. For now, we're on TED Excellence. And who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening for TED Excellence? Tony Giff, good evening. Noah Asensio, good evening. Miranda Stone, queen of the Discords, good evening. Who else is here? Kiever Den Mother, good evening. Rotten Corpse, good evening. Kiro Soldier, good evening. Let's see, who else? Attack Alpaca, good evening to you. The Best Remy, good evening. Resolute Germ, good evening. Robert Pincus, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright shining faces. Robert Pincus, good evening to you. Corey Suzuki, good evening. Fun Time Bats, good evening. JMK, good evening. Jonathan Peterson, good evening. Shadowclaw, good evening. Who else is here? Anybody else? Datura Jones, good evening. The Luke Skywalker, too. Good evening to you. You're Ridiculous Lunatic. Good evening. Fostonia. Good evening. Advocatus Diaboli. Good evening. Simon Willikins. Good evening. Anybody else? Scrolling. Ercole Di Stefano. And I think that's everybody. I think, wait, Ercole, there you are. Ercole Di Stefano. I clicked on you, but somehow it didn't take. But there you go. Either way, everyone, good evening. If I missed you, if you're lurking, or if you're in the future, good evening. Yeah, so tonight, the title alone caught my eye, and I have some thoughts. Today's topic: why education shouldn't be about success. Now, as always, I have not watched any of this. I did not even read the description. I just read the title, and I was like, okay, can't wait to hear this. Now, my prediction is Eric Grinstatter. Not really. No, my prediction wasn't Eric Grinstatter. But also Shadowcat, good evening. I've heard CNN is going to strike anyone else who streams the debate. Yeah, I don't know what Sinatra's plans are. I don't know if we're just going to do like a commentary track for the debate, if he's going to have some obscured version of the debate in the background. That's going to be on his channel. So I will speak to him before we begin the stream and make sure that he's not setting himself up for some problems, but I guess we will find out. But yeah, so my thoughts on this before we begin. There's going to be something about how grading is unfair. It might be a sales pitch for social and emotional learning. Like, we shouldn't focus on academic achievement. We shouldn't focus on grades. We really should focus on developing good citizens, or change makers, or people that are empathetic to one another first and foremost, something like that. That's my guess. Because otherwise, education should be about success. So what should it be about? Failure? Rampant mediocrity? I don't know. I suppose we'll find out as we go. Either way, tonight's bingo card is bingo card A. A as in Trapper Keeper, because Trapper Keeper was the winner of the poll for the best back to school supply. So if you'd like to take part in the debate each week, I got debate on my mind. The poll each week, you can follow me on X at @scribe_light, as you see there on the screen. And you can vote in the weekly poll to choose the bingo card. Alan Thyler. Thank you so much, Alan, for the Kabuki, Dancy, Happy Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow.
Oh, there's a Weebo Jones Dogcat Fox. The rarest of Dogcat Foxes. Maybe not the rarest, but a rare Dogcat Fox. Thank you, Alan. Hope you enjoy the show. All right. So with that, I got to keep this under an hour and a half or thereabouts, because I have a debate to get to soon. So let's get started. This one clocks in at just under 11 minutes. So let's find out, if we can, why education shouldn't be about success.
In preparation for this talk, I was doing some pretty intense research.
Ooh, intense research. And what did intense research entail?
With my 6-year-old.
Caught me as I was taking a sip of my drink. Intense research with your 6-year-old. All right, well, that sounds like a childhood or family anecdote, so circling that on the board already. Remember, this is bingo card A. The links to the bingo cards are in the description. Let's go over the bingo card one time to remind ourselves what we are listening for. Collectivizes own demographic, systemic or institutional, sales pitch for product or service, diversity, equity, and or inclusion, plays victim, microaggressions or unconscious bias, privilege, contradicts own point or argument, patriarchy, weightless example, economic disparity, feminism, marginalized or marginalization, a list, and that has to be an official list of some kind during the course of the presentation, white supremacy, word salad, self-vilification or wretchedness, argumentative non sequitur, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, mind reading or assumes motives, benevolent condescension, anecdote that probably never happened, and leaves out vital context. So far on the board, we have childhood or family anecdote, as our speaker did some intensive research with her 6-year-old.
I asked her what she wants to be when she grows up, and she replied, a chef, a hairstylist, a teacher, and a doctor.
Okay, all sounds decent.
She's a girl with some big aspirations.
Sure, great.
I then asked my 3-year-old, and he said Spider-Man, but that's another talk.
That's a perfect answer. That would have been my answer at 3 years old. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be Spider-Man. Yeah. Either Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk, because it was really a toss-up between either of those two when I was very young.
So it became very apparent to me, and it made me wonder how we go from that to becoming grown-ups plagued with burnout, imposter syndrome, chronic stress, anxiety, depression, loneliness, substance abuse.
It's called life. It's called moving from a perspective on the world that is very, very cloistered, sheltered, and hopefully very safe, to having to become aware of not only the world at large, but your individual responsibilities and place therein. I didn't think it was that much of a mystery, but apparently our speaker didn't figure that out at this point. I'm backing up a little bit because I did cut her off a little bit there.
Depression, loneliness, substance abuse, etc.
I don't have substance abuse. I have like a pepper jack a week. That's perfectly fine. That's within moderation.
By a show of hands, how many of you know of someone, including yourself, who has experienced these things?
What? What? Any of the above? Burnout, stress, anxiety, depression, substance. Yeah, I mean, gosh, do you think anybody in the audience couldn't think of someone or themselves who has ever been stressed out? Okay.
Yeah, look around.
Why? I don't need to look around. I could ask any group of people with that multiple choice list of conditions or situations, and everybody and their brother be raising their hand.
This is our current status quo.
What? Okay, so wait. Is somewhere in this talk going to be on offer a cure for anxiety, burnout, depression, stress, substance abuse? What?
While there are so many things that contribute to these variables.
You're right. To that entire litany of things you listed. Okay, you know what? That was a list. That was certainly a list. She's operating off of that list, circling a list. Yes, there are many things that can contribute to those, like life, growing up, self-awareness, having to make a living, children. What?
Things that contribute to these variables, there is one constant in every person's life, and that's education.
All right, wait. So the root cause, God, we're not even a minute into this thing. The root cause or the root relationship to burnout, anxiety, stress, substance abuse. What was all the other stuff? Anyway, education. Okay.
What if we could use education to help bridge that gap?
Bridge that gap. Just say social emotional learning, would you?
What if we could use education to prepare students for this chaotic, unpredictable world and ensure that they have the tools to navigate it in the most successful way possible?
You mean a good education, reading, writing, and arithmetic, that they have the schools to navigate the inevitable problems and slings and arrows of life in trying to find a job, a career, trying to balance your budget, have some personal responsibility, punctuality, and so on, that kind of thing. I would be amazed if that's what she means.
There are two elements to this.
Oh, well, if I didn't already circle a list, there's a list.
The first is fostering a sense of curiosity and self-worth.
Curiosity and self-worth. Is that really the realm of the school teacher? I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that school teachers, especially in elementary school and so on, wear several hats when it comes to wrangling small children. I get that. But there is a line. It might be a little hazier in the younger years than it is in the older years, but there's a line. Is that your responsibility, oh teacher?
And the second is creating opportunities for more experiential learning.
Well, sure. I mean, depending on what we're talking about, having kids, interact with things to learn about the world as well as some of the fundamentals is a good learning tool.
We live in a very achievement-focused society.
You don't say. Is there a society that doesn't have achievement as part of its, bedrock? Pardon me. Is there a successful society that doesn't have achievement as part of its bedrock? Thank you, Derek LaRue, so much, as always, for your continued support and generosity. Hope you're having a good evening. And if I can spell the word thanks on here, there we go. Hope you're enjoying the show. Let's see. Anybody else I can say hi to while I got a moment here? Darren Root, good evening. And anybody else I didn't see before? I don't think so. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Anyway, so yes, we live in a very achievement-oriented society.
We tend to focus on success and sort of highlight that at the expense of self-worth and self-efficacy, or one's ability to reach their goals.
No, wait. Okay, let's back up and listen to that one more time, shall we?
Achievement-focused society. We tend to focus on success and sort of highlight that at the expense of self-worth and self-efficacy, or one's ability to reach their goals.
No, success galvanizes one's sense of self-worth. And already, I don't know, should I do word salad or contradicts own point or argument? I feel like that's word salad. And yeah, achieving something proves, or at least helps to reinforce in oneself, a sense of self-efficacy. When you achieve something, when you see that you worked towards a goal and you achieved it, not only does your self-worth, hopefully, unless you've got some other problems going on, increase, but your sense of self-efficacy also increases because you had a goal and you succeeded. Now, I think there's something to be said about learning from failure and not seeing failure as an immediate stop, I can't do this, quit forever kind of thing. That would be something to talk about, but success, we underscore success at the expense of self-worth and self-efficacy. Okay, I'm circling word salad. I don't even know what her argument is yet, but that was gobbledygook beyond compare. So circling that one.
The rise and impact of perfectionism on our youth has been exponential.
It has. I don't know. Have you seen Gen Z these days?
Gen Z is in the midst.
What the hell? What? Okay, sure. Jesus. Okay, yeah. Okay, tell me again about Gen Z and perfectionism. Really? Oh, real quick. Thank you, Officer Buck. Hello, scribe and chat from a roundabout 4.5 pounds lighter Buck. 1 month down, 2 to go. Well, congratulations, Buck. That's great. Good for you. I know how difficult that can be sometimes to monitor your intake and also make sure you're getting plenty of exercise elsewise. So, congratulations on being a lesser man than you were, in a good way. Appreciate it, Buck. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Exponential. Gen Z is in the midst of a mental health crisis.
Given what I see on TikTok these days, I would agree with you there. And what might I ask is fueling that mental health crisis?
And is cited as being the loneliest generation.
Yeah, well, maybe they need to go touch grass.
They have stunted social and emotional development due to both the pandemic and technology.
Social and emotional development. Oh, so are you promoting social emotional learning? Thank you, Keeverdam, for the very respectful bowing Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Well.
I just blindly clicked on a Dogcat Fox stinger, and there's Tailed Feature to make me laugh. Thank you, Tailed Feature in absentia, and thank you, Keeverdam, very much. Hope work is not treating you too badly today. I know you're at work right now. Anyway, lonely Gen Z.
We use achievement and success to compare students to other people.
Well, to compare them to themselves, ideally, right? To track progress and to alert the teacher as to which students need help with certain subjects over others, which students you could pair up with somebody else who's weaker in a subject that another student is stronger in, and so on. But admittedly, I am not an educator, but her conclusion there sounds a little bit self-defeating. I could be wrong. Thank you again, Officer Buck. My brother is having his wedding in 2 months, and I'll be damned if I'm going to get new pants. Wait, if I'm going to get new pants for it when my old pants are just fine, just a bit small. See, now, Officer Buck, I'm afraid you've learned the wrong lesson here. Success is focused on at the expense of self-worth and self-efficacy. So the fact that you've set a goal, a measurable goal, is actually detrimental to your overall outcomes in life. For shame, Officer Buck. How dare you focus on success? Listen to our speaker. You're only hurting yourself, Officer Buck. You have to focus on your feelings. Your feelings are what's important first. Not the sense of achievement or the sense of, self-worth and image you would get by achieving the goal of losing weight and making the effort to do so and knowing that you did that under your own 2 feet and on your own initiative. No, you just don't, or think about it, but don't actually. I don't know. I'm trying to.
Success to compare students to other people, when in reality, we should be allowing them to reach their full potential and live a life of meaning and purpose.
I don't mean to keep stopping. I have to stop occasionally because of YouTube. I don't mean to keep stopping quite this quickly, statement to statement, but everything that she is saying so far makes absolutely no sense. Okay. A student, if a student is your student, if you're the teacher, how are you going to help them reach their full potential if you have no idea and make no effort and use no metrics to measure where they are currently at and what their potential could be or what they need to focus on in order to improve to reach their full potential? How do you propose to do that? Okay, you've got 8 minutes left. How do you help students reach their full potential without focusing on or making use of the notion of success and achievement?
So many high school and college students are just paralyzed by trying to pick the perfect major or have this ideal career path laid out before them.
Yeah, that's most kids. When your worldview is relatively, cloistered and blinders on kind of things, you think that any decision you make now is going to be the end all be all for the rest of your life. If you don't pick the right major now, you're being messed up in your entire career and this, that, and the other. I don't know what to do with my life. Gee, trying to figure out what to do with your life. I'm sure that is exclusively a Gen Z phenomenon.
But that's not necessary. How are you supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at age 18?
You don't. And that's true. You should have an eye towards whatever you're interested in right now, or where do your strengths lie, and focus on that. And hopefully through life and interaction and experience and other opportunities that come the way, you might find your way to what you're passionate about, or what you like to do, or what you're good at. Or you can be like me, where you have absolutely no idea what to do. So you got an English major because you're kind of good with words and writing and stuff. And then just kind of see where the winds take you and end up in information technology and doing YouTube and stuff and still not have any idea what you want to do with your life. Everybody has their own thing. Or you can be like my sister Scribe. When she went into college, she was like, I am going to write for television and movies. And boy, oh boy, did she ever focus on that. She took classes specifically on media production and video production and communications and writing and this, that, and the other thing. And then she moved down to Hollywood. She went down there to try to find a job in writing or writing for a comedy show or other stuff. And things didn't quite work out, but she got jobs doing other things and had other experiences. And then she ended up doing a whole different career by the end of it. But she does comedy on the side to keep in touch with that part of her personality and her interests. So yeah, it could go either way. She had a target, a goal, a direction. I had no target or goal or direction. And we both kind of just ended up not in the same industry, but in sort of like the same mindset of just like, well, this is where I ended up and I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing. And, I find outlets for the other things that I'm interested in, and that's fine. Not everybody finds their perfect fit all the time. And sometimes your perfect fit is just, whatever makes you most comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, sorry, rant.
I was still learning how to sort my laundry.
Okay.
Fostering curiosity and self-worth is essential.
Fostering curiosity and self-worth is essential. Okay. How do you propose to do that in a student?
Both of my kids attend a Montessori school.
Both of your kids attend a Montessori school. That's a very specialized school. Let's remind ourselves real quick. What is a Montessori school? Let's see. Montessori school. No, I don't want a location of one. Thank you. I want a definition. Give me a definition of a Montessori school. There we go. Montessori education is a student-led and self-paced but guided, assessed, and enriched by knowledgeable and caring teachers. Right. So it's not a very structured school. It's a SEL type school. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, it's a alternative type of education.
The Montessori approach focuses on being student-led and self-paced.
Okay, well, that's literally the definition. That wasn't a psychic moment. I was reading the definition.
Where the teacher is viewed as more of a guide.
Okay.
Instead of filling the students' minds with facts, they nurture this self-directed learning and their knowledge and intrinsic motivation. And as a result, these students grow up to be confident, self-directed learners who are accountable to both themselves and their communities.
Okay, so anyone who does not go to a Montessori school is none of those things. I didn't go to a Montessori school. What were the elements of a Montessori graduate again?
Result, these students grow up to be confident, self-directed learners.
Confident, self-directed learners. Well, let's see. Confident. I guess it depends on the circumstance. I have issues with self-confidence. It's true. I don't think it was my school that did that to me. Self-directed learners. Well, when I need to know something, I go out and find out the information I need to do it. Whether it's like video editing or sound mixing or, I had absolutely zero experience in anything dealing with broadcasting, public speaking, video editing, whatever, until I decided one day I'm going to try to do YouTube. And then it was just a, overtime aggregate learning experience. And I still suck at it. But, I'm better than I was when I started. But I didn't go to a Montessori school, so I guess I could have been better.
Who are accountable to both themselves and their communities.
Right. I'm not accountable to myself or my community. I'm a total anarchist. Dang it. There was just, if only I'd gone to a Montessori school.
What if we could promote more self-reflection in high school students by having them take various personality inventories?
So glorified horoscopes? Yeah, okay.
Like the Myers-Briggs type indicator.
Oh, geez.
This is a personality test some of you might be familiar with. It's used by a lot of Fortune 500 companies.
I thought you was about to say a bunch of fortune cookie companies.
In fact, I would encourage all of you to take this assessment when you leave here today.
The 3 times I've taken that test, online version or otherwise, I always end up with a different result. I wonder why that is.
It evaluates learning styles, self-awareness, ability to work with others, and ideal career paths.
Okay. So it's a test that's going to tell me exactly how I operate already and what career path I should take. I wonder what the test would tell me my career path should be if I took it today.
Not only would this highlight students' interests, but it would also identify what types of roles they would be good at.
Oh, you mean instead of like giving a child a generalized education, seeing where their strengths lie based on a metric of grading and improvement and seeing, where their strengths lie and what they might be good at? I'm waiting for something that's telling me that education, a standardized education, a structured education, is inherently bad or somehow inherently antithetical to what this lady wants to have happen.
Therefore, promoting more self-worth and self-efficacy.
Uh-huh.
I did well in school because it was expected, not because I was interested in the material.
6 of one thing, half a dozen of the other?
I remember being in 7th grade and having to read The Hobbit for my 7th grade language arts class.
You got The Hobbit for 7th grade? Oh man, I had to read Moby Dick.
And while my husband loved this book, I just have never been interested in fantasy.
While your husband, wait, were you married in 7th grade? What? that sounded really weird. That was one of those, I shot an elephant in my pajamas kind of comments. You had to read The Hobbit in 7th grade. Well, my husband really loves that kind of stuff. It's not really my thing. What?
So I gritted my teeth through Bilbo Baggins' journey, but it came at the expense of my desire to read for pleasure.
Oh, shucks. Did you have to do something in school that you didn't really want to do and weren't interested in, but had to adhere to the requirements of the assignment? Oh, no, there's absolutely nothing that a situation like that might be preparing you for in your adult life. I mean, obviously, no, you're always going to have it your way, right? Life is just one big Burger King and you're going to have it your way all the time, or else you're just going to pout.
Which didn't happen again until college.
Oh.
This may have gone very differently had I been able to choose a book I was interested in.
Oh, well, gosh, sometimes in life, you don't get to choose what you want to do, but are instead assigned what you have to do. I know. It's so unfair.
I received my first F ever on an art history test when I was a freshman in college.
You failure.
After the teacher passed out all the graded exams, I remember sitting in the back of the lecture hall and I was bawling my eyes out.
Oh. Okay. You're a freshman in college? All right.
So much of my identity and self-worth was wrapped up in being a good student
Which obviously would never happen in a Montessori school.
and achieving that it just crushed me.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm starting to understand now. So you are projecting your retroactive analysis of your educational experience onto anyone and everyone else and saying that the problem was your education. It's not you. It's not how you chose to handle or approach difficulties or challenges in your education, or instances in your education where you were not happy with what you were having to do. But it's the education itself that molded you and set you up to fail emotionally. I think I'm understanding now.
In fact, it wasn't until I got to college that I really developed this thirst for knowledge.
It wasn't until you got to college that you developed a thirst for knowledge. Okay. Now, everybody starts off different things at different periods of their time or their life. You know, I don't know. I didn't become particularly social until I hit college. I mean, when I was growing up, I was in the same town amongst the same people all the way from preschool all the way through high school. You know, I mean, different kids came in from different schools as you went up into different, levels and things. But for the most part, there was like this core and consistent community of people who I'd known throughout my entire growing up. And when that's the case, and some of you out there might be able to empathize with this, there is a sense of where you belong on the social pecking order that never changes, right? Unless you make some kind of like drastic moves or something, the reputation or how you fit in a particular community is carried along with you when the people around you never change. It's slightly modifying itself as you go up in grade and age, but not by that much. You know, it's kind of a social stigma, not necessarily inherently negative, but also can be sort of limiting. And as a consequence of that, and because of my own sensibilities and temperament, being a sort of shy, stoic, bookish nerd, I felt very, very pent in for most of my growing up when it came to socialization. But then I moved to college where I knew nobody and nobody knew me. And I finally felt like I could sort of figure out who I am and how I operate in an environment where there's no expectations either from other people or on myself. And for lack of a better phrase, I blossomed. I had some major failures. I had some major successes. I learned as I went. Everybody has different ways of doing different things, and they can happen at different times. So, but no, that's not you. That's not just maybe how you developed naturally. That's your public education's fault. Okay.
I saw the movie Silence of the Lambs, and through that, my love affair with psychology was born.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. Silence of the Lambs sparked your interest. Okay. I mean, after a fashion, books on true crime and serial killers sparked my interest in psychology to a certain extent. All right, sure, fine.
It became addictive. I could not consume enough information about human behavior because it just fascinated me.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't this start sooner?
Because everybody develops differently. Well, I don't know. Are you planning on taking a copy of Silence of the Lambs to your kids' Montessori school?
Think about how you acquired knowledge.
How did I acquire knowledge?
In school.
In school. How did I acquire knowledge in school? Well, I used the Dewey Decimal System. microfiche, an encyclopedia. Remember me, Encyclopedia Britannica?
We tend to focus on an authority figure presenting us with facts
Mhm.
or theory or analysis, but it's
Yeah.
not until we put this knowledge into practice that we're fully able to contextualize it.
Yes, that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Very good.
This is learning from doing, not learning about doing.
Yes, there's book knowledge and then there's life knowledge. Okay.
You can only learn so much in a classroom setting.
You are correct.
We need to create more opportunities for students to have truly immersive experiences and apply that knowledge in real-world settings.
Okay. What would you recommend and at what grade levels?
So how do we do this?
I've been waiting 6 minutes and 5 seconds.
The first is through experiential learning.
Yes, you mentioned that earlier. Give us an example of experiential learning. I think it should be fairly easy.
This can include collaborating with local businesses or community organizations, internships, mentorships, real-world projects.
Yes, and none of those things happen or have happened in public education in the past. Nothing like that. Okay.
Hobbies, travel, exposing students to other cultures.
Okay, well, other cultures. How much of this is your responsibility as a teacher? You know, maybe the parents have something to say about this or want to take part or even are actively doing so with their children in their own time. You know, helping dad fix that old car out there, you know, or going on a trip with mom to the museum or something on the weekend. Is this, I always ask this when I watch something about education. Where do the parents come into this equation? It's the teacher is not the parent. Thank you, Devil Fruit Zero. I had to read Oprah books of the Bluest Eye and Beloved in high school and college. You had to read fantasy over some fucked up shit. Small violin. Yeah, tell me about it. I can't even. I have blocked from my mind some of the most, you know, inane, boring, pointless books or poetry collections that I had to go through in both high school and later on college for my English degree. Some of my teachers in college, I'll on sort of an ethical level, I'll never forgive them for this. At least two teachers, professors in my college, they had us buy collections of their own poetry and use that as classroom material. Not some known poet, their poetry. So in addition to my tuition paying their salary, I then had to supplement that by buying their book as a requirement for passing the class. I tell you, it was quite the grift. And you know, I've completely blocked all that out. What I remember of the beneficial stories I got or readings that I got out of college was a class on Greek mythology and one short story called "The Signature of God" by Judson Mitchum, which is it's like a page and a half or 2 pages long or something. One of the finest examples of minimalist writing I ever read, and I have a copy of it in the actual book it came from in my room. I kept that book, thankfully, and you can find it online. And yeah, otherwise everything else was like The Scarlet Letter or Moby Dick or The Crucible and all this, you know, all the classics and Shakespeare. I didn't want to read Shakespeare. I understood why I had to read Shakespeare. I didn't want to. If somebody said, "Hey, you want to read The Hobbit for a school?" Somebody like, "Hell yeah." But she didn't want to read The Hobbit.
The second is integrating life skills.
Integrating life skills. Okay, so first one, experiential learning is field trips to practical situations or businesses or something. You didn't give us an explicit example, but okay. And now,
What if we taught math through the lens of financial literacy?
I am all for it. And this never happens in public school. Did you ever, I mean, and maybe it's a dying art or something. Do they still teach home economics in school, high school specifically? I had to take home ec. I had to learn to balance my checkbook, to do some basic sewing and some other sort of like regular household type of skills and things. But yes, financial literacy, I think, should be a prerequisite for graduation from high school. Some class or some element of financial literacy. Nothing will help you more in managing your adult life than financial literacy. Knowing how to maintain a budget, follow your spending, have some sense of proportion to what you're spending versus what you're taking in, and especially all the red flags and warnings as possible on credit cards. But anyway.
Teaching budgeting,
Yes.
understanding taxes. Thank you.
I don't know what she was thinking, but okay.
Investing, saving for retirement.
Yes.
What if we focused
yes.
more on soft skills or
Sorry, I didn't mean to pause right there. That was a slip up on my part.
what if we focused more on soft skills or interpersonal skills?
What do you mean we? Okay, first off, how is this your responsibility as a teacher? Okay. And secondly, how do you suggest this be done? And at what grade levels and in what fashion?
Students would learn how to communicate effectively, resolve conflict.
Maybe. I mean, some people are better at that than others. Some people are more sociable than others. Some people are peacemakers. Some people are wallflowers. It's not.
Develop emotional intelligence.
Okay, you know what? Social emotional learning, emotional intelligence. Because kids don't know how to do that. Parents don't have any role in that. They can't do it. Public school doesn't have any contribution towards that already, socialization skills or otherwise. Just as a matter of being alive and interacting with other people. What are you suggesting be done? Wouldn't it be nice if kids did this and this and learned this? Oh, I suppose it would be nice. What are you recommending be done?
Build strong relationships and learn to work as a team.
Yeah, because I never had team exercises or assignments in public school. I got to wonder, what exactly was our speaker's experience in her education? If this all sounds like some kind of like novel idea to her.
What if we also focused on executive functioning skills?
What if Dr. Doom became Sorcerer Supreme? We can do this all day. Do you have something, dare I say, substantive to share with us? Come on.
Where students would learn how to manage their time, plan and prioritize tasks, stay organized.
Wait, organization, prioritize their time? Are you talking about structure and discipline? I thought it was supposed to be a self-led education where the teacher's just sort of a guide. You want to put all these stringent rules around the children's time and activities. I think that's contradicts own pointer argument. Okay, a bunch of what ifs and abstracts and everything else. If you've got a specific complaint, make it and offer a solution.
Pay attention, practice self-control, and develop mental flexibility.
Develop mental flexibility.
I would argue that these things are just as, if not more important than what kids are currently learning in school.
Well, then, okay, compare and contrast. What do you say are they currently learning in school that they're not learning any of these other things? That none of those things come about just as a natural progression of socialization and life in general. And again, I ask, where are the parents?
I'm fearful for our students.
You seem to be very fearful indeed. I think you're projecting, however.
We place so much value on grades, standardized
Yeah.
tests,
Yeah.
that we forget about the developing human who's along for the ride.
No, not unless you're a complete sociopath. And also, they are not your children to help develop. They are your students to educate. They are someone else's children.
We have this dichotomous mindset, right?
You do?
Success versus failure.
That is kind of how it goes. If you set a goal, you either reach it or you don't. If there's a standard you have to achieve in order to pass on to the next level, you either do so or you don't.
But it's much more holistic than that.
I love when they throw out that word as though that's supposed to magically mean something. Well, okay, what is it more? How is it more holistic than that?
We have, in this day and age,
No, not in this day and age. You don't say something like that and not go on to explain what you're talking about. We have this idea, this very binary thing of success and failure. It's more holistic than that. Now let's talk about this completely different thing. No. How is it more holistic than that? I don't know. Is our speaker a teacher? Because right now she is absolutely failing. She is getting an F from me in effective presentation. I wonder if she's going to start crying. Come on.
we have, in this day and age, we have an abundance of information, and this is especially true with the development of artificial intelligence.
Wait, what? No, oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
You know, I get a sensation, and I really do. I think it is some kind of like backroom challenge for TEDx talks that they somehow, some way have to work in AI to any particular presentation when it comes to education or technology. Somehow, AI has to pop in there. I'm reminded of the movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin. You ever see Leap of Faith? Just as a very brief aside, Steve Martin plays a sort of like big tent revival preacher type character in Leap of Faith. And one of the funny bits, and I spoiler alert, one of the funny bits in there is that before he gives one of his sermons, his manager or his backstage guy or whatever bets him that he can't find a way to work in some random terms or phrases into his speech, into his sermon, and make it make sense. You know, and I just remember it's like the guy said aluminum siding. He's got to work aluminum siding into his speech. I swear there is some behind the curtains bet in all TEDx programs now that you have to somehow work AI into your presentation. And the success with which you work it in depends on the context. And in this one, failure.
Where we can pull information from multiple resources at once.
You mean the internet? You mean the library? Yeah, no, access to information. Yeah, we've never had that before. There's never been, if you can believe it, any kind of either analog or electronic collection of information accessible to students. Only now, only in the 2020s has this come about. I mean, today's generation is just completely separate from any generation before due to access to information and AI.
And we have this misconception that the more information we have, the better off we are. But this often leads to overwhelm and inaction.
Well, that's why the teacher is there. That's why you have a very focused lesson plan. You are going to read from this book. You are going to get your information from this source. So as the students do not become overwhelmed, you give them specific tasks. Here, today we're going to learn how to do research on a thing. So here is what we're trying to find out. Specifically, use these tools to find that information, and they will gain skills in research for future projects, future assignments. but they're not being overwhelmed because you're there as the teacher, as the educator, to keep them in line and to teach a sense of discipline in the lesson plan. You are not these kids' parent. You are there to educate. You are not there to teach them all things about life. There is someone who is overwhelmed here. It's not the students. It's our speaker, by her own volition, taking onto her shoulders the lives of every student she is put in charge of, absent any parental involvement, apparently.
The goal should be to spark curiosity in our youth and encourage them to be intrinsically motivated for learning.
Intrinsically motivated for learning. Okay. How would you propose that be done?
Fostering self-worth and curiosity will allow students to have the courage to try new things.
How do you propose that be done? You know what? I'm circling argumentative non sequitur for AI. That's just, I don't know what else to say. Just AI throws out there and what? Leaves out vital context as well, because I have a feeling she is not going to explain herself any further than she already has in these things. It's going to be just a what if fest the whole time.
Trying new things pushes somebody outside of their comfort zone.
You don't say. Wow. Hey, there's a thing over there I've never tried before in my entire life. I've just done these things, and there's that thing over there I've never tried before. Boy, oh boy, if I tried that thing that is new to me, I'd be going outside can you believe I'd be going outside my comfort zone? Man, who is this talk for? Right? Who is the audience for this? What is the target audience for this talk? What is hoped to be achieved in this presentation for anybody listening to it?
And this is where personal development and growth really occur.
Oh, really?
They would learn how to handle failure, develop resilience, adapt to unexpected challenges, and many other essential life skills.
What, by allowing them to set the curriculum and just have the teacher there as a guide? In that environment, how prepared do you think a teacher would be to reinforce the lessons of failure onto a child? In the absence of grades, in the absence of a quantifiable metric of achievement, how exactly, and I am honestly curious, how exactly would our speaker teach the lessons of failure to her students? Or are we again just going to be having a collection of what ifs? And wouldn't it be nice? We're in the Beach Boys territory. Wouldn't it be nice?
Our current formal education system focuses a lot on memorizing facts and cramming for tests.
It can be that, yes, but there are actual, utilitarian skills that are taught along the way. But it depends on what we're talking about. But here's the other thing, too. Yes, you're there to educate. You're there to teach your students about the world, reading, writing, arithmetic, how to spell correctly, proper grammar, proper mathematics, world history and geography, to have an awareness of the world and the mechanisms that within which the world works, and then as well develop the tools to be able to carry over into a career later on. That is your responsibility. You are not there to be a psychologist. You might have watched Silence of the Lambs and thought, boy, oh boy, I'm going to be a teacher now. No. This is really frustrating me because, like I say, I don't have kids, but I can sort of think about a parent sending their impressionable, vulnerable child off to a school run by people like this, and then wondering how their kid turned into such a ball of emotional gobbledygook by the time they get home from class every day. What did you learn today? I learned how to be self-worth and efficacy. What? Thank you, Chicago Mike. Where does TEDx find them, and do they bring them to Scribe? No, it's like, where does the school board find them, and why do they bring them to me? Or why do they send them to me? Yes, that's, you can't do that on television reference for those of you olds like me. I just have the King Midas touch in reverse for selecting TEDx's, I guess. Or the titles tell me more than I think it does before I start off.
But it's the application of knowledge, which is where the real learning actually takes place.
Yes, again, there's knowledge, there's book knowledge, and there's life knowledge, right? There's knowing something and then gaining wisdom from applying what you've been told to real life and finding out, the disparities or the usefulness of it and all. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other Life 101 comments to make, or do you have something worthwhile to tell us?
I remember reflecting back upon my life, I've learned more since I graduated from grad school than I did in all of my educational experiences prior.
I don't even have a stinger for it. I got to get out the Nicolas Cage you don't say.
And as a result, I've grown tremendously, both personally and professionally.
Oh, wow. Golly gee whiz. And you're so unique in that aspect. Boy, but hell, because I went through a public education, I'm exactly the same person as I was when I graduated high school. I don't know what I just froze in place. It didn't prepare me for anything. I didn't learn anything more after that. I didn't experience anything in life. I haven't changed since I was 18. No, it's just, what is your point?
This is especially true for teens who crave a sense of agency and independence.
What is especially true?
They're learning who they are.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to tell you this. I'm 45. I'm still learning who I am.
What their strengths and weaknesses are.
I'm 45. I'm still learning what my strengths and weaknesses are.
What's important to them.
I could go on.
What makes them tick? What can we do to help guide them through this process?
I don't know. What do their parents say?
I want to share a real life example that a colleague of mine, Katie Lear, came up with. She started Young Dragon Slayers.
Wait, you want to share a real life example that your colleague came up with? Okay, so after 9 minutes and 32 seconds of a 10-minute and 57-second presentation, finally, you're going to give us an active example of something. Better late than never. Okay, Dragon Slayers. What are the dragons that they are slaying, might I ask?
Dragon Slayers, a Dungeons and Dragons gaming group for teens.
Wow. Okay, well, let's see. It'll teach you storytelling. Presumably, it'll teach you mathematics. It'll teach you strategy, especially if you're using like grid paper and things like that. It'll teach you teamwork, and how to weigh your abilities versus the situation in front. Yeah, no, I will say Dungeons and Dragons can be a very enriching experience. I mean, tabletop role playing in general, when done in a fun way, certainly can be. Great. Okay. And
while this may just seem like, a bunch of kids engaging in a hobby they enjoy.
And it can be. Why can't they do it outside of a teacher directing it?
There are actually a lot of hidden benefits.
They're not that hidden. If you had said she started Dragon Slayers, a touch football group, I think anybody with a functioning frontal lobe could understand what the possible fringe benefits might be of working as a team, exercise, strategy, using your mind, socialization, and on and on. But okay.
They learn leadership skills, assertive communication, creative problem solving, reading nonverbal cues, and identity exploration.
Okay. Stop. Okay. Well, okay. Let me back up. Okay. Back up a little bit. All right. I will concede that depending on how she means that, she could be correct. Okay. Because one more example from myself. When I was playing Vampire the Masquerade, I would make my characters with an eye towards taking some small element of myself and turning it into its own character. So like I had a character that was my idealism. I was just going to make this character a pure idealist, right? And I was going to inject into this character, if you took every other element of me and tossed it aside and I was just idealism, this would be the character. And so I'd be playing an aspect of myself to a sort of galvanized degree. And throughout the story and interactions with other characters and situations, I'd ask myself, okay, what would my idealism tell me to do in this situation or in this choice or whatever else? And then I had another character that was like my cynicism. I'm like, okay, what if I was pure cynicism? So if that's what you mean by identity exploration, then okay, I'll grant you that. But I have a distinct feeling that might not be what she means. At the same time, I have no expectation that she's going to explain herself either.
We're living in this post-pandemic world
For crying out loud. And
where we have a unique opportunity for change.
this post-pandemic world. So you see a post-pandemic world as an opportunity for change. What kind of change does a post-pandemic world bring about for you?
And a chance to sort of reevaluate our current educational systems.
How? What does a post-pandemic era have to do with that? Explain yourself.
I think we're focusing on the wrong outcome.
Well, obviously so. You started out the whole talk with that. We are a success-focused society. We really should be doing this. Yeah, we know. You told us that. You haven't explained what you've been...
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Right?
You know, I'm starting to understand why you were crying in college. I just...
Achievement. What if we were to shift our focus toward promoting authentic curiosity laid upon a foundation of introspection, self-worth, and
Self-efficacy?
ambition?
Oh, ambition. Okay. Well, what if we were? What if we did? You know, what if the Fantastic Four all had the same power? I mean, what if? What if, everybody?
This would set students up to lead more purpose-driven, fulfilling, meaningful lives.
How? How would you? There's no point. There's like 30 seconds left. There's no point.
So I'm not claiming to have all the answers.
Well, okay. Credit where credit is due. Only at the very end did you tell us you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I mean, at least you didn't not say that at all, but okay. What? Oh my God. You know, I honestly want occasionally to come across a talk that has something worth listening to. I really do. It is frustrating for me. I mean, it's entertaining to a degree to watch a grown adult, multiple grown adults come onto the stage time and time and time again and give you nothing but wouldn't it be nice and what ifs. Wouldn't it be nice and what ifs? And then just end the talk with, I'm not saying I have all the answers. This same thing happened with Satsu and I doing the reparations stream, last week or the week before? We get through the whole talk, and right near the end, she's like, now, I'm not saying I have any of the answers. If you have, no, okay, you know what? I'll concede. Most people don't have all the answers. Okay. But do you have at least a proposal? I will take a high-level 30,000-foot proposal in the absence of nothing at all instead of just a litany of what ifs and wouldn't it be nice. And throughout all our speakers' professional experience, whatever it is, I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming she's a teacher. She didn't say specifically, or at least if she did, I forgot it already. She doesn't even have a proposal, an idea, a framework. The only thing I've heard so far is Montessori schools are better than the school I went to.
I'm just planting the seed of an idea.
No, you didn't. You're not planting anything. No. There was no seed. No. There has been no seed. There's been no seed. Nothing at all. There has been dirt. There has been nothing but dirt. There's no seeds here. It's just plain, unremarkable, nondescript potting soil. You've planted no seeds.
And this is to equip future generations with more resilience, intrinsic motivation for learning.
What?
And independence in terms of practical skill sets.
Really practical skill sets, but not focusing on memorizing facts and cramming for tests and grades to be able to track progress through different disciplines. Okay.
So I hope that you join me in this endeavor.
What endeavor?
And who knows what's possible? Maybe my little 3-year-old will become Spider-Man after all. Thank you.
That was, oh, I was gonna crutch. I tell you what. Okay, let's just move on, shall we? Okay, let's go to the bingo card. I need to. Oh man, what was that? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go over the bingo card one more time by myself. If you have any arguments for squares to be circled, please hold on to them, and I will get to you presently. Collectivize his own demographic. Honestly, I don't think she did. I don't recall her at all. Systemic or institutional? Yes, at least by in the abstract or aggregate in talking about public education versus a guided Montessori education, and the fault in her attitude was all that of the schooling that she had. Sales pitch for product or service. Well, I'll tell you what, in so many ways, I guess it was a sales pitch for Montessori educational styles. I guess. Best I can do. Diversity, equity, or inclusion. Well, the aversion to grades in education is a highlight of grading equity. When you look up the theory of grading equity, they talk about diminishing the importance of grades and standardized testing and things like that. So since that was a running theme through this, I know maybe it's a little bit abstract, but then most of this was. I'll be circling that one. Plays victim, yes. Boy, howdy. My first F was in college, and I cried and I cried. And it was the school's fault. It wasn't my fault for not being able to handle my own emotions. It wasn't my fault for not studying. It was the school's fault. It was my previous education's fault that set me up to fail that one time. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. Not that I heard. Privilege? No. Patriarchy? No. Weightless example? Yes. Did you know that participating in a team-based activity can teach leadership skills and socialization skills and problem-solving skills? Try Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Economic disparity. She never really did bring up anything like that. Feminism? No. Marginalization? Not that I recall. White supremacy? No. Self-vilification or wretchedness? Well, she did play victim. I don't think she made herself out to be the bad guy, or that she was somehow contributing to a problem. So I don't think so. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase? No. Mind reading or assumes motives? Mind reading or assumes motives. I bet there's an argument there, but it's not coming to me. Benevolent condescension. Yeah, the entire talk really was. Did you know that these things happen? And also somewhere in there, I don't know if this is exactly apropos to that square, but somewhere in there, the absence of the parents, talking about these things as though there are no parents present. There's no other life guides in these children's lives. It's just the teacher's responsibility. Anecdote that probably never happened. She never really gave any anecdotes that I didn't believe. Like her 6-year-old says, chef, baker, lawyer, or doctor. And her 3-year-old says Spider-Man. That sounds perfectly reasonable. That she had a colleague that started a Dungeons and Dragons group as an educational tool. I could believe it. Outside of that, it was all a bunch of what ifs and wouldn't it be nice? You know? What if the Punisher joined with the Venom symbiote? You know, it happened. All right. What are some good ones? What if the Hulk destroyed the X-Men? What if Peter had never married Mary Jane? That kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't think there's any anecdotes that didn't happen. Only 2 perfect anecdotes that I know of. So anyway, all that being said, that's where the bingo card is now. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, we might, I don't know if we'll go to bingo here. It's up to you guys. You guys and your wonderful arguments. Let's see. Ranting Monkey, can't stay, wanted to say hi though. Well, hi though. And yeah, nice to see you, Monkey. Hope you enjoy your gaming and hope you have a good, I think Monkey's doing his own debate stream soon. So look out for that as well. Q Continuum, Scribe Light Privilege. The person speaking is white. By existing, there is privilege. Well, while that may be so, privilege, at least in that analysis, was not part of the presentation. So I'll need something else. Advocates Diaboli. Her explaining things that should be inherently obvious to anyone over the age of 5. Benevolent condescension. Yeah, okay. That's again. Yeah, that's pretty much where I was at. Matt says parents aren't holistic. I guess not. Let's see. Assassin of the Gray. She also resents her son because of his Spider-Man answer. Well, I mean, it was kind of weird that she said, you know, her 3-year-old, again, a 3-year-old says, I want to be Spider-Man. She says, well, that's a conversation for another talk or something. I'm like, why? He's 3. Anyway, Daniel Fullman, we need a bingo card for us watching Scribe. With squares like Scribe laughs, Scribe says how, and Scribe mentions irate Alex. You know what? That'd be pretty good. If somebody wants to cook up because I would be my own worst witness for my habits on here. If somebody wants to cook up a Scribe Light bingo card as a companion piece for TEDx Talks, I would find that entertaining. So by all means, do it if you shall, and post your submissions to the Discord server under the TED Excellence channel. I'll find it. I'll find it more than entertaining to see what people come up with as my predictable quirks or predictable events just in my interaction with TEDx's and not TEDx's themselves. That's interesting. I like that. Thank you, Daniel. Faustonia, what if Iron Man teamed up with Captain America and Thor? Oh, wait. Well, there was one where it was like, what if Captain America had not been thawed out of the ice? You know, what if he'd never been discovered? So if he remained in stasis, what would have happened to the Avengers? What would have happened in the rest of that? I think that was a 2-issue adventure where he wasn't discovered. Let's see. Ranting Monkey, I will do a debate stream, but after it's over. Oh, okay. All right. Take care, buddy. You too, dude. Have fun and rest up, as always. Love you, man. Shadowclaw, she believed in totalitarianism without admitting it. I'm not quite sure. She kept like doubling back on herself and her arguments and her points. I'm not, she wants a self-directed student, but then she also wants students to learn discipline and punctuality and have self-worth and stuff, but in the absence of any kind of focus on achievement or success, it didn't make any sense. Right? You know, like in blackjack or something, it was just a push. It was nothing. It was you know, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Juggernaut versus the Blob, basically. Let's see. Tony Giff, can we just let kids follow their talent after school? Yeah, this is what I always find with these modern educators. They do not know their place. They think they do not see themselves as educators. And honestly, they're not encouraged to see themselves as educators. They're encouraged, and they self-encourage, to be gurus. And at no point, and I bring this up only because it's very important, whenever you hear an educator talk about education, if they never bring up the parents in the process, that is one of the biggest red flags you can come across. It is not your child. It is your student. You are a part-time caretaker in shepherding their education. And that is it. If you need to go beyond that boundary for some reason, it better be a really good reason. And if you feel that you need to go beyond that boundary for some reason, and you're not immediately contacting their parents to discuss the matter with them, that is something to worry about. Let's see. Scribelight, privilege. She described her life and her kids as one of privilege, even if she never said the word. In what way? As I would say to one of our speakers, give me an example. Delford Zero, what if Miles Morales was Captain America? Well, what if Patriot became Captain America? That'd be a better one. Because he was the grandson of the first Captain America in the retroactive continuity of things. So what if Steve Rogers retired or was killed? Actually, there was one where what if the Punisher became Captain America? That was a good one. Man, that was a crazy issue. I loved that issue. That was great. Let's see. Also, the ability to self-learn is not something everyone has in them, which would also make it a privilege. Private schools are a privilege. Okay. Yeah. And honestly, you know, just as a little bit of a snarky aside, if your first F was in college, you're living a fairly privileged existence as far as I'm concerned. But maybe that's just me. Either way.
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
We have our first bingo. All right. Anything else, everybody? Let's see, what time is it? I got to start thinking about getting ready for the stream with Sinatra here pretty soon. Shadow Claw, Montessori schools are a privilege. Fair enough. Fair enough. What if Professor X and Magneto never met in Haifa? Oh, there's a good one. There's a good one. Delver Zero, Scribelight goes nuts and makes the lip fiddle sound from Looney Tunes. Oh, you mean that one? Yeah. Actually, that wasn't Looney Tunes so much. There was a Mystery Science Theater episode, and I don't remember what one it was. I think it had to do with like a biker gang or something. It was an old black and white movie. But this authoritarian character or somebody in there, the line in the movie is, "I have but one thing to say, and it is this." And before the guy can say anything, Joel in the audience goes, it's stuck with me all these years. And it's just the perfect sort of like response to nonsense in my mind. Faustonia, are you going on Sin's channel or is it your channel, Scribe? Well, it's on Sin's channel, and I will give you the link to it right now as I prepare to wrap things up because I think we are out of squares. The link to the debate stream or the debate commentary stream, whatever you want to call it, with me and Sinatra is now in the chat. I believe it's over on the Silent Sin channel for those of you listening at home. Yes, the Silent Sin. It starts in about 40 minutes. That's 40. If you're listening to this in the future, you can find that link there or just look up the Silent Sin channel on YouTube. Also, if you didn't already know, I have a Discord server. And this time, I actually prepared the link, if you can believe it. The link is in the chat as well right now. If you want to join the Discord server, click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you watched the stream, you're not a bot, and have earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is failure. Just say hello, failure, and I'll know that you watched the show. Yeah, CNN gonna snipe you, says Matt. I don't know what Sinatra's plans are for this. If it's just going to be a commentary track where we just kind of like say timestamp the debate is starting and somebody's gonna have to watch the debate live in tandem to us, that'd probably be the safest bet. I don't know what his plans are, but once I do, if he is planning on like piping in the actual footage, I'd say, dude, I think Sinatra's an elder streamer by now that I think he knows what the danger zones are. But I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Would be funny if Monkey and Sinatra rated each other with let's go Brandon quotes. It would be funny. What if Monkey and Sinatra rated each other? Well, Monkey's doing his stream after the debate's over with. So there's not any overlap there. So in fact, if I really wanted to push myself into, masochism territory, I could try to be on both Sinatra's live stream with the debate and then Monkey's after debate stream. I don't know if I could do that. We'll see. Anyway, everybody, I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Also, I completely forgot in the process of things. At the top of the chat box, there are links to some GoFundMes for our friends Moonshock, James Colley, Grisella, and Angela Arriaga. If you guys could take a look at those if you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that is fine. But if you can share those out on social media, please do that as well. So there's that. Let's see, programming note. I was on, just one of those random Forrest Gump moments of my YouTube career so far, sort of like, meeting Kurt Metzger or something. I was very nicely invited on to the Pop Culture Breakdown stream with Doomcock and Gary Ambrosia, and Echo Bass ended up on there last night as well, and a couple other people who I hadn't met previously, but I remember seeing them on other streams. There was Doug, and was it Jonathan? I'm sorry, my brain from last night is already a little hazy. And of course, Mexican Iron Man was on there, Mikey. Anyway, yeah, so I got to be on Doomcock's show, which was just kind of, a little bit starstruck there because I've been watching Doomcock for several years now. And save for a couple of technical difficulties, I think I did okay. But you can check that out. We talked about Doctor Who and The Acolyte and the Disney revelations of the hidden camera footage. And then we talked about Johnny Dangerously. It was a really fun show. It was really nice to hang out with those guys. So if you're curious about that, I'll go check that out. Also, if you don't already know, I have a series called Living on Borrowed Crime, where I talk to true crime content creators. I'm getting ready to start scheduling the next panel discussion of that, and also attempting to get a one-on-one interview with someone I haven't talked to before. But hopefully that's all going to come up in July, so keep an eye out for that. And anything else I want to plug before I go? Not that I can think of, except for, the Sinatra stream coming up in about half an hour for the debate, and looking forward to that. And if you guys can turn out for that to hang out with us as we watch and or comment on the debate, that would be fun. But beyond that, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the GoFundMes into the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. Also, as a little bit of a aside for those of you who, I'm going to keep that a surprise. I take it back. I was about to say something. I was like, no, I'm going to keep that as a surprise. You'll know it when you see it. That's all you have to say. Kira says, I said hi to you last night, Scribe. Oh, I appreciate it. I was so laser focused on my conversations and ranting and paying attention to things last night that chat kind of went by the wayside in places. So I appreciate those of you that showed up last night and hung out and offered encouragement or otherwise. I apologize if I didn't see it specifically, but he has a big audience for those shows. So anyway, everyone, thank you for joining me. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope you enjoyed the debate for what it is if you watch it, or if you don't, I might envy you depending on how it turns out. I hope you are all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.